G'day, I'm Paul. Renault is leaning on its Formula One nous with an F1 inspired version of the Captur. It's a new one to Australia, so today we're going to check it out. This is called the Renault Captur RS line. It's priced at just under $41,000, but if that's too expensive, the entire range kicks off at a little over $30,000. This competes with things like the Ford Puma, the Toyota Yaris Cross, the MG ZS. It's that size of vehicle. Today we're going to do a detailed review of this car, so if you do want to skip ahead to other parts of the review, you can use the time codes on the screen, or if you're on YouTube, you could scroll down and use the chapters below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon, because that's going to tell you every single time we drive a virtually F1 car. Let's talk about the exterior design. So you've got 8 colours to pick from, 8 combinations of colours. So all but solid blue is going to cost you $650, and you can also get two-tone colours like this, where you have one colour on the body and then one colour on the roof. And I really like that setup there. Now, when I said this had an F1 inspired design, I was talking about down here. So Renault, of course, is in the Formula One. And this doesn't have any performance upgrades, but Renault has sort of changed the front end here, and it looks a little bit different to a standard Captur. I actually think this is a pretty good looking car just in general. So it's cool to see they actually do this sort of stuff and, I don't know, give you a bit of inspiration from F1. So big Renault logo there. You've got these chrome highlights along the top and then along the bottom here. And as you move further down there, you see the radar sensor, and then also these sort of grey coloured sections down the bottom. Over here you have a set of LED headlights with LED daytime running lights and LED indicators, so a lot of LED action just there. Round here, let's have a look at these wheels. Set of 18-inch alloy wheels, machined finish on the outside with that sort of, I don't know, what colour is that? It's like a graphite-y style colour on the inside there as well. So yeah, nice looking wheel design. Small brakes, but I guess it's a small car, so we'll see how that performs later on. A little bit of wheel arch cladding. Now this is front wheel drive only. It has a ground clearance of about 160 millimetres, so you're not going to be doing any off-road driving, but it does sit a little higher off the ground than a typical hatchback. So it's nice to see. RS line badge, so this is also part of that RS line package. So they've nestled that in the side there with a bit of piano black and chrome. Up the top here, you have piano black on that wing mirror with an indicator built into there and a camera for the 360 camera. Along here, you've got more of that chrome highlight. Up the top there, you've got some roof rails, privacy glass, and then come around to the back with me. Love this taillight design. So LED elements here, but it kind of has a bit of depth to it. It's a 3D design with these strafes along the side there as well. So pretty cool looking setup. Another RS line badge there. Captur. Shark fin aerial over there. You got a little boot lip spoiler there as well. So, and some fake exhausts. So let me know what you think about the design. I actually think it looks quite handsome here in the blue color. They have like the hero orange color that still looks nice, but this sort of blue really tops it off nicely. So let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Are you F1 inspired by the Renault Captur RS line? Let me know. So we are inside the Captur. Let's start off with the key. Sorry about all the stickers on here. You've got unlock, lock, a button to illuminate the car, and then you have a boot button. On the back there, you have a Renault logo. This is a proximity sensing key, so you can leave that in your pocket, and then push button start is just up here. I don't know why they make them like this. They're just kind of too thick to be convenient. So when you put it in your pocket, I don't know. Anyway, I just wish they made like smaller keys or just no key at all. It would make life much easier. So let's talk about the design. I really like the way this looks. If you look at the rest of the cars in this segment, Renault really has gone to a lot of effort here, especially on the top spec grades of Captur, to make this look and feel quite premium. And that means soft touch materials along the dashboard there. This sort of carbon-esque material that sort of wraps around the side of the car there, F1 inspiration. And then this kind of metallic material through the rest of it. The RS line comes with all the offset stitching and then the coloured seat belts as well, which I think is kind of cool. And then it's all central to this big screen here, which sits high enough so you're not really having to take your eyes off the road too much. So really impressed with the cabin layout and just how functional everything is here. What about your touch points? So it's pretty firm there and kind of okay on the door. How firm are the touch points? Well, we've got our gyrometer. We've tested the main surfaces in this cabin. If you want to see how this car compares to others that we've tested before, have a look at the link in the description. Now, build quality. It feels a little wonky through there. It's a tiny bit loose as well. The rest of this feels okay. Door. Sounds very nice and solid. Let's talk about the infotainment system. So measures just over 9 inches in size, and it's vertical as well, which I like the look of. It means that you're getting a little bit more real estate, and it works well just in terms of your driving. So while you are driving, all you need to do is glance over here. You don't need to look down, and it's all sort of within easy reach. So I really like this setup. It's pretty easy to use. So this is your home screen. It's divided into sections. You have your native satellite navigation in there. That works okay. Tiny bit laggy. You can see it sort of lagging a bit as I move my finger around there. You then have a bottom section for the phone and also your media devices. On the media front, you have AM, FM, DAB, digital radio, Bluetooth audio, and then also your smartphone mirroring. On the smartphone mirroring front, you have both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And this is what Android Auto looks like. So pretty much takes up that entire screen there. And I think that integration is fantastic. So it still gives you enough room to access the rest of the car's controls down here, but then you get that full integration. It is nice and snappy as well. And this is what Apple CarPlay looks like. So again, full screen integration there. Nice and snappy as well, quite impressive. On the audio front as well, you've got a 9-speaker sound system. And then in terms of the rest of the stuff, this is all pretty straightforward to use. You can configure these screens to show whatever you want on there. And then you've got an applications menu where you can watch video and photos while you're stationary, which sounds like fun. Head of the driver is another 10.25-inch display. Digital cluster allows you to configure things as you go. And then you can also change what appears on the screen while you're driving as well. So really comprehensive and good looking tech set up here. Now, what about your safety features? So you have AEB with pedestrian detection, you have an auto dimming rear vision mirror, you have radar, cruise control, you've also got a lane departure warning and a lane keeping assistant. Over on the wing mirror there, you can see a blind spot monitor built into that. You've got rear cross traffic alert. On the parking front, you have both front and rear parking sensors and a 360 camera. I'll show you what that looks like. That is terrible. It's like a really low quality camera. So that's looking out the front there. Yeah, it's just really hard to see what's going on there, and that's looking down the side as well. And then you also have a set of sensors there too. Yeah, the quality is just really not that good, and you can see there we can't even really make out anything on our suitcase either. If I put this into reverse, actually, I need to start the car here for a second. If I put this into reverse, you can't even see what the camera says. So yeah, not that impressive there in terms of the reverse view camera or the 360 camera. Now, what about your practicality? We'll start off with connectivity. So you've got a 12-volt outlet down here. You've got an auxiliary in, 2 USB-A ports, wireless charging down here. Now, where are you going to put your phone? Well, you can pop it up the top here, or alternatively, just whack it on the wireless charger. There are plenty of options there to store it. Then, in addition to that, storage of your other items, such as your coffee cup. Fits in there nicely with room to grab your lid. What about our water bottle? Yeah, it fits in there easily. You've got teeth to hold it into place. Fits inside the door without any problems. Let's try our big bottle in the door. Look at that. Really is strange. The bottle fits perfectly in the door, this giant bottle, but in some much bigger cars, you can't fit a giant bottle in, which is kind of weird. Glove box over here as well. It's okay, the dimensions are just a little bit weird there, so yeah, it's a bit funny, that one. But I do like this tiered storage system. It means that you can have stuff up here at your level, but also down there as well. So it's a pretty decent setup. Center console. That is so weird. It's like really deep but tiny, so a little bit disappointing. But the lid of that does move forwards and backwards if you do need to rest your elbow somewhere. Moving on to comfort, you have single zone automatic climate control. Now, the weird thing is you've got a heated steering wheel, but no heated seats. And then the seats are fully manually adjustable for both the driver and front passenger, which I thought was a little bit disappointing. It's a top spec model. It could at least have electric seat adjustment. Seats are really comfy though, so they've got that cloth and leather finish. And I love that head design as well up the top there. It just looks really nice and classy. Steering wheel is adjusted by both tilt and reach. And then on the reach test, all of this stuff is easy to reach while you're driving. So back seat of the Captur. Not exactly a huge amount of room here. I've got my driver's seat in its standard driving position, which is quite far back admittedly, but yeah, my knees are like right in the back of that seat. So to get comfy, I kind of got to go like that. But I do have decent toe room and headroom is okay. I'm sort of just touching on the side here. In terms of your other creature comforts, map pockets in the back of the seats. You've got 2 USB-A ports, a 12-volt outlet. air vents, which is pretty good. ISOFIX points on the 2 outboard seats with 3 top tether points for the kids. No center armrest there with cup holders. You can put your bottle inside the door though. Kind of fits in there without too many problems. It is worth calling out as well that this can slide forwards and backwards to give you more boot space, and I'll show you that later on, but this is, I think, unique to this segment. I can't think of any other SUVs in this segment that offer that kind of versatility. Finally, our window test. Yeah, so close. Almost went all the way down, but it's auto up and down, which is good news. So cargo space, let's have a little sticky beak. So you've got a little over 400 litres of cargo space. Now, it may not look like much, but watch this. What you can do with this guy is basically drop that down. You've got more storage space under here. Beneath the cargo floor, you've also got a space saver spare tyre. This does have a clever feature though. If you do want a little bit of extra space, you can actually move this second row forward. So it gives you just a little bit more room there ahead of that cargo wall. So that's a pretty impressive setup. I'll show you what it's like with our bags in there. So laptop first, and then our suitcase. All fits in there nicely without having to lower that cargo floor. Means you can also put your valuables and stuff under there without people seeing them from the outside. Now, if you do want to expand that also, so you have a flatter load floor, you can just drop the second row out of the way. That gives you a little under 1,300 litres of cargo space. So I've just hit the road in the Captur. Let's start off with what is under the bonnet here. So the entire range gets the exact same engine. So regardless of which one you pick, you're going to have the same drivetrain. So it's a 1.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine. It's kind of, if you look at the other cars in the segment, you generally don't get the turbocharged stuff until you get higher up in the price band. So it's good to see that they offer it across the entire level of grades. And that produces 113 kilowatts of power and 270 Newton meters of torque. Now that's a pretty reasonable amount when you consider how big this is. It's only a small pint-sized car, so having 270 Newton meters of torque on tap is actually not a bad feat at all. It's all mated though to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now, this is the only thing I really don't love about this car. At low speeds, especially if you're on a slight incline, what you find is that it can just be a little bit jerky in terms of how it engages. So it just takes a little while to get moving. And if you try and jump on the throttle from a standing start, it kind of flares and just shunts you in the back. It's not the most graceful thing. So yeah, bit of a shame, but it only is at low speeds that you're feeling that. When you are moving though, you can sink the boot in and then it sort of gets up and moves fairly quickly. It's not razor sharp, but it's quick enough. You then also have these paddle shifters as well to shift through the gears if you need to. The thing I love about these is just, it's kind of weird. It's an aesthetic thing, but just the click that you get just feels really nice and premium. Feels F1 inspired, so. Oh, that was terrible. Let's talk fuel economy. Renault claims a combined average of 6.6 litres per 100 Ks. We are sitting on, let's have a look, 7.2. It's actually not too bad. So it's a pretty impressive fuel economy for a car this size. I went for a fang around here earlier today as well. So that number is pretty impressive, I reckon. I will point out as well on that screen there, you've got a horsepower and a Newton meter gauge. So if I bury the throttle, I get all of the horsepowers and all of the Newton meters, so it's a fun little thing to have. One thing I do want to point out is just how much noise is coming into the cabin here at highway speeds. We're on a country road here doing highway speeds. There is a stack of noise coming over what sounds like that wing mirror on the left-hand side. It's really noticeable, and there's a fair bit of tyre noise as well. So it's not going to be the quietest thing in the world if you are doing a long-distance highway drive. Let's talk about the ride. So we've got our sine waves coming up here. I'm going to jack the speed up to 130, which is the fastest legal speed you can do in Australia. We'll see what the body control is like. Here we go. Yeah, look, it is pretty bouncy. So at that top end, it doesn't really have a great deal of control, which is interesting because in and around the city, the ride is, I don't know, the ride's firmer than what I thought it was going to be. It sort of has a sporty tinge to it. So it is surprising there on the sine waves that it has so much hang time when the speed picks up. Typically with these cars, if they are firm in and around the city, they'll have good body control at the top end. So I'll be interested to see how that affects it when we go for a bit of a sportier drive. Okay, let's talk drive mode. So you've got a little button here that brings up the drive mode menu. You have My Sense, Sport and Eco. Pop it into Sport. Everything goes red. I can feel the gearbox is in like a sport mode. Let's see what it's like through our little track here. This is surprisingly fun. A little bit of wheel slip there from the front end. It's holding the gears as well. I like that. This is actually pretty good. It's getting up and moving a whole lot faster than I thought it was going to be. Wow, that is impressive. And it's staying fairly flat as well. It has a degree of body roll, but it's nothing sort of too crazy. It actually feels like a little hot hatch. It kind of reminds me of the Clio RS to some degree. Like, it's not stupidly quick, but it is way, way nimbler than I thought it was going to be. If you compare this to something like a Toyota CHR or a Hyundai Kona, this feels way more exciting to drive. So let's roll it onto our back straight here. I'll stretch its legs a little bit. It's actually really good. The steering feels great. It's sitting nice through corners. All right, we're right on the throttle. Let's see how it goes on the back straight. It's moving along really nicely. Far out, I was not expecting that. It really has taken me by surprise. This genuinely feels like a much sportier version of a Captur. To think that they all get the same engine setup, I think is really impressive. It has a lot of road holding and it's actually just really fun to drive. So that has really surprised me. I can see where they're getting that F1 inspiration from. Renault claims a 0 to 100 time of just under 9 seconds. This is how it went up against our stopwatch. Let's talk visibility. So being a small car, it's pretty straightforward. I can see clearly down the front there. The wing mirrors are nice and big. They have that slightly curved edge on them as well to help you see. Got a blind spot monitor built into there as well. And then in terms of visibility out the rear, it's not too bad. It is a narrow envelope, but I can clearly see out the back there. Finally, turning circle, it comes in at just over 11 meters, which is pretty good. So the Captur RS line, I was genuinely surprised by how fun this is to drive. If you put aside the hesitation from standstill with that dual clutch transmission, once it's up and going, this is actually an absolute hoot. And the pricing isn't too bad either. When you look at the rest of the competitors in this segment, this still actually presents good value in terms of the technology and a lot of the features that you're getting. I wish it did get heated seats and electric seat adjustment, but outside of that, it's actually a really good package. So let me know in the comments section below, have you bought a Captur? What were you cross-shopping as well? I know a lot of people were looking at stuff like the Kona, and when parked next to this is actually pretty good value for money. So let me know in the comments section below what you reckon about the Captur RS line with its F1 inspired design. I'm keen for your feedback. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. But until next time, take it easy.